Next up is Nye County Sheriff candidate Joe McGill. Joe has been in law enforcement in Southern Nevada for 35 years. He retired from the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department in 2013, and during his career there, he worked patrol all over the Las Vegas Valley. He also worked narcotics, problem-solving unit, property crimes detective, the auto theft task force, and other units. He was a patrol sergeant and field training officer. After retirement, he started working for the Nye County Sheriff's Office in 2014. He has worked as a general assignment detective and traffic deputy in Pahrump for 8.5 years. His goal is to bring positive changes to Nye County, starting with community involvement, respect, and trust. His focus will be reducing the crime rate, addressing violent crime, drug crimes, and improving the overall quality of life for our citizens. Let's welcome Joe McGill.
Thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you all for hosting this event. My name is Joe McGill. I'm currently running for Nye County Sheriff. The reason I decided to run for this position was because many of the staff of the Nye County Sheriff's Department asked me to. The overall feeling was that the staff had lost faith in their current sheriff, and much of the community also. I am going to begin with creating an open dialogue with the community. Businesses, individuals, everybody that we can interact with, I want to interact with on a positive level. Everyone will be treated equally and fairly under my administration. You're not getting that. We need to reach out to the community and ask you, what do you need? What is your problem? What is your problem? Come to an open meeting or something, but we need to listen to you, because unless we listen to you, we don't know how to serve you. I want to treat the staff of the Sheriff's Department equally and fairly. There will be no favoritism, and there will be no targets on people's backs. I'm going to change the atmosphere in the Sheriff's Department, which is going to change the attitude of the Sheriff's Department. They are going to be more happy. I can tell you I've received 98% of the Deputies Association for endorsement. I received nearly all, and I can't say how many because they didn't tell me, of the Sergeants Association endorsement. And the Administrators Association chose not to endorse a candidate. Folks, the officers in your community and the civilian employees of the Sheriff's Department know that you need me to be your next sheriff. Therefore, you need me to be your next sheriff. They do not want 4 more years of what's been going for the last 8 years. Thank you.
Now round of questions, starting with Joe.
The retention and recruitment of deputies is a major concern for many law enforcement agencies statewide. Do you think the department needs more deputies, and what will you do to address this concern?
Every law enforcement department in this country needs more people. There's no question about it. Too many times, people don't want to be cops anymore because of the stigma that is attached to that position. However, if we didn't have law enforcement, there would be no order, correct? Nobody would be safe. There's always going to be someone victimizing someone. We do need more deputies here. We need more civilian staff. I plan to go out recruiting all over the country, and I will tell you that from day one when I take office, the morale is going to change on our department. We are no longer going to have deputies leaving our agency to go to another agency. They want you to believe that they're leaving here to go to Boulder City or Nevada Highway Patrol, Nevada State Police, for more money. That's not always the case. Sometimes it is a factor. However, they're leaving here because they're afraid every day that they're going to be fired, and that is going to change under my administration.
Jenny?
How do you determine which priorities are most important in an emergency situation?
Very much like a hospital emergency room. You have to prioritize your calls for service as a law enforcement agency, and you have to go to the violent offense or the violent incident and maybe let the reckless driver wait. Maybe let the disturbance call wait because you need to go to the domestic violence incident first. You need to go to the violent incident before you can handle the more, for lack of a better term, mundane things. No person's need for law enforcement to me is mundane. But I will tell you, we do have to prioritize what we do, and we have to make sure that public safety, and I'm talking violence, injury, that type of public safety, is the number one priority, and then everything else falls in line behind that.
Mark?
How would you improve how the department deals with people with mental illness, absence, and increasing funding for the Board of County Commissioners?
We can create more training, better training, more and better understanding on the individual officer's part of what we can do in the case of a mental illness, of a person with mental illness or suspected of. There have been many times that I've seen in my 8.5 years working here at Patrol and my 26 years working at Metro Police in Las Vegas that deputies or officers have come to a point where they feel like there's nothing more they can do for this individual simply because he knows how many quarters are in a dollar, and he knows what city he's in, and he knows who the president is. Let's delve into that a little bit more. Let's show a little bit of compassion to that individual who is in a crisis situation. And let's talk to that person rather than talk at that person. Let's get buy-in from that individual and say, look, you know you don't feel good right now. You know, because you've been on this medication for 25 years, that you need this medication to feel right. I don't want to have to take you to jail. As a matter of fact, I can't take you to jail because maybe this is not a criminal incident, but let's go to the hospital together. I'll buy you a hamburger and a cup of coffee at McDonald's on the way, and let's get you the help that you need. Many times that works. I had a guy in the Clark County Detention Center one time when I was working there from 1987 to 89. He told me, he said, McGill, he says, you are the strangest cop I've ever met. And I said, why is that? He's trying to kill himself for like the 6th time. He can't even succeed at that. He said, because you care. I do care. That's why I continue doing this. That's why I've been doing this for 35 years. And that's why I'm going to continue doing this. And I'm going to lead my department. I'm not going to push my department.
Jill?
Law enforcement agency transparency has been an area of citizen concern. Specifically, what procedures will you implement to provide transparency in your department's activities and beyond the open records law?
Beginning with no preferential treatment. Nobody gets their career swept under the rug. Nobody. Nobody gets their life and their crisis situation today exposed on the national news simply because we want to make an example of that person. We need to report the facts without the slants, and we need to not report when it doesn't matter to you. Oftentimes it doesn't matter to you, and oftentimes you don't care. Am I the deciding factor on that? Sometimes I am. I can listen to my community and find out what you are interested in, because I plan to be out in my communities from Pahrump all the way up to Gads. I plan to be out in my communities listening to my citizens, listening to the people who I serve, and finding out what's important to you. But the main factor is that we do need to be open, but we don't need to put our slant so that we can damage your reputation. I don't like the fact that we put some people's domestic violence calls out on the internet and on national news. Doesn't need to be there, especially when there hasn't been a charge yet.
And 2-minute closing statement there.
I want to start with this, and this is a very important thing, and it should be a very important thing to many of you in this room. People have been telling me that they're being told by other people in the community that I'm going to take your concealed weapon permits away and I'm going to take your guns away. That is straight BS. How does it make sense that I'm currently raffling a gun for my campaign if I'm against guns? So, think about that. Think about the fact that your law enforcement personnel are backing me across the board. They need a change, and you need a change. We need to create an open dialogue with the community. We need to go out there in the community, drive down your neighborhood street, and if you're out taking your trash can out for the day, and we happen to drive by, you might just say, "Hey, how you doing?" And I want my cop to say, "Good, how are you today?" And that may just strike up a dialogue. Because you may have a problem with your neighbor down the street, but think it's silly or you don't want to sound paranoid or whatever, so you don't want to call us. But that officer happens to drive down your street and you strike up a dialogue, you might reach out. We need to work on the drug problem in our communities. It's out of control. We currently have no one proactively enforcing drug cases, going out there and searching for drug dealers, making undercover buys, doing search warrants, making arrests. We do the search warrants and make the arrests on the backside when we happen to come across it. Let's not be that way. We need to be proactive, and we need to support you. With that, please support us. Thank you.